Bonjour, monsieur. You can speak to my lawyer. Correction, my lawyers. When starting your fintech company, it's probably a good idea to consult a lawyer. Luckily for you, we have two. Fabienne and Alexander, thank you very much for joining us. How are you both?
Fine, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Good. You are both skilled partners at a law firm, very strong on banking. Is there a big difference working with fintech companies?
Nowadays, less, but 2 or 3 years ago, it was different worlds, because you had really the fintech funding platforms, and then, for instance, and then the big banks and other asset managers. But now it's becoming mixed a bit.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of what sort of, in a legal sense, what kind of support does the Geneva government provide to fintech startups?
So basically, Geneva now has been really involved into the fintech companies, typically for blockchain, also infrastructure. I don't know if you've been aware, but there was this guidelines on ICO that the Geneva State has issued early the year before. And basically, what we've seen is that Geneva was very keen to develop a lot of ecosystem within the blockchain infrastructure, and more for ICOs. They have developed also a committee that can, with different banks, tax lawyers, KYC providers, to provide a real kind of services to people who wants to do ICOs or TGE. It's been a token generating event in Geneva. And what they've done is that they've done a mapping of all the service provider in this kind of field, where you have marketing, technique person, lawyers, tax lawyers as well. So you can be in the mapping of this Geneva ecosystem environment. Mm-hmm. So I think back in the time we were 5, but now we're like 80s. Yeah. So,
personally, for you, from a legal viewpoint, with the blockchain growing and growing, has that been a real challenge, or have people really embraced it?
No, I think that luckily for Geneva, we had people who understood the opportunity of becoming a blockchain hub for Geneva, and there were a lot of support from the Geneva State. I think the guidelines of ICO has been issued within 2 or 3 weeks. The tax administration was sitting with us and could have done really a tax ruling somehow in a pretty short time. And thanks to Geneva, I think that they're well now positioned for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how does FINMA, the Swiss Financial Markets Superior Authority, see the fintech world?
So the first guidelines on fintech, to my knowledge, are dated 2014. It was regarding crowdfunding. We had only 2 pages about crowdfunding, saying concretely, if the funds are accepted, are going through the crowdfunding platform would be considered as a financial intermediary, which is normal because the platform is accepting funds from third party. So that was it. We had nothing more than this. It was not that useful. But we started asking no action letters from FINMA, and we got around 10 action letters between 2014 until 2017 for crowdfunding platforms. And they were already open-minded on fintech, but we saw a difference starting 2017, 2018, I think due to the Swiss Federal Council, Federal Department of Finance, who are clear that they will support actively the fintech. It was not only a neutral approach, but a positive approach. And then we saw the difference. FINMA was even more open-minded. And now, I think we have around 1 ruling per month coming from FINMA. So they have the fintech desk. They have a team dedicated to fintech. And I think we are lucky to have this in Switzerland, because we can call them actually every day if we want. And they are supporting also our work as a lawyer.
Fantastic.
So it's great.
Yeah, and so you guys advise fintech companies like token issuers and crowdfunding platforms as well. What has your experience with them been like, and maybe moving forward, if you look to work with any new companies, what sort of advice would you give them on the best way to go about it?
Okay, so I think it's not a secret, but the crowdfunding platforms, what they want is finance projects for an entrepreneur by using internet and the crowd. And the token, the blockchain, when used, usually it's used to finance a project, in most cases, and the difference is the underlying technology. It's the blockchain, but concretely, I think all the crowdfunding platforms will move to blockchain at some point, the same as the SIX or the stock exchanges. They will need, I think, to use such technology at some point, and I would advise them to do it as soon as possible, because I think it will come this year, 2019.
So one of the other problem that we can face as a legal issue with the blockchain technology is the compliance with the GDPR, so the protection of data. Because basically you have data encrypted into the blockchain and you cannot just erase them, it's there forever. So how you would deal with that, because there is some rules in the GDPR which say that you have a right to forget, and if the data is within the blockchain, how you would deal with that. So you have a problem between the technology and the law that is currently into places. So we are thinking now on how to comply GDPR with the blockchain, and there is a lot of discussion on that. There is today more questions than answers. But basically, the way we see this is that there is also an opportunity for people like you and me to have our own data protected within the blockchain. And today, there is a Facebook, Google, who can take your data, sell them to other person if they can, or if usually they shouldn't do that. But basically, tomorrow what you could do is you have your own data into the blockchain, and then wait that someone asks you whether you can use your data or not, and maybe you can sell them to them. So this is something we are looking at, and the GDPR is a big topic into the blockchain, and again, there is more question than answer today.